In the heart of a grand mansion where marble floors echoed with wealth but not warmth, lived Alexander Kingsley, a self-made millionaire admired by the world and feared by his competitors, yet quietly broken inside the walls of his own home. Ever since his wife's tragic death during childbirth, the mansion had turned into a silent battlefield of guilt and grief, and the only sounds that filled its halls were the soft cries of his newborn twins, Ethan and Elias, cries that grew weaker with each passing day, because no matter what doctors, nannies, nutritionists, or specialists tried, the babies simply refused to eat, turning away from bottles, crying until exhausted, their tiny bodies growing thinner as Alexander watched helplessly, pouring money into solutions that failed again and again, blaming himself for not being there when his wife needed him most, blaming fate for giving him everything except the one thing he wanted, a family that felt whole. The staff walked on eggshells. Doctors whispered behind closed doors, and despair settled heavy in the air until one quiet morning, a new maid named Clara arrived, a young woman with gentle eyes and a past she never spoke about, hired without much thought by the estate manager, unnoticed by Alexander who hadn't slept in days, sitting beside the twins' nursery with dark circles under his eyes, watching yet another nurse give up in frustration. Clara observed silently from the doorway, noticing what no one else had, the way the twins stiffened at unfamiliar hands, the way their cries softened only when someone hummed softly nearby, the way they searched not for food, but for comfort, and without asking permission, risking her job, she softly began to hum a lullaby as old as time, one her own mother once sang, and something extraordinary happened. The crying slowed, the room grew calm, and the twins' tiny fists unclenched. Alexander froze, watching from across the room as Clara gently sat down, cradling the twins not like a paid caretaker, but like a mother who understood fear, loss, and love, holding them close, letting them feel her heartbeat before even offering the bottle, whispering softly, reassuring them they were safe, and for the first time since their birth, Ethan latched onto the bottle, then Elias followed, drinking slowly, peacefully, as tears streamed down Alexander's face, his world stopping in that single moment. Word spread through the mansion like wildfire, doctors stunned, staff in disbelief, and Alexander demanded to know who she was and how she did it, but Clara only lowered her eyes and said, "Sometimes babies don't refuse food, sir, they refuse loneliness," words that struck Alexander harder than any business loss ever had. From that day on, Clara became indispensable, not because of her duties, but because of her presence. She sang to the twins, held them during storms, spoke to them about their mother, filling the nursery with warmth money could never buy, while Alexander slowly began to heal, watching his sons grow stronger, healthier, happier, realizing how absent he had been, how grief had built walls even love couldn't climb. Weeks later, he finally asked Clara why she understood the twins so deeply, and with trembling hands, she revealed her truth. Years ago, she had lost her own newborn after being forced to work through her pregnancy, holding her baby only once before he passed, learning too late that love and closeness mattered more than anything else. The confession shattered Alexander, who realized Clara hadn't just saved his twins, she had saved him, teaching him that presence is the greatest wealth, that no fortune can replace human connection. Moved beyond words, Alexander made a decision that shocked everyone. He funded a foundation in his wife's name to support mothers and infants, offered Clara a permanent place in the family, and vowed to raise his sons not as heirs to money, but as heirs to compassion. Years later, as Ethan and Elias ran through the halls laughing, strong and full of life, Alexander would often look back at that moment, the day his twins refused to eat, and the day a humble maid did what no one else could, and he would smile, knowing that sometimes miracles don't come from power or wealth, but from quiet hearts brave enough to love without being asked. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that real richness lies in kindness, connection, and humanity, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more powerful stories like this are coming, stories that heal, inspire, and remind us what truly matters in life.